If you're in the retirement risk zone, which is 10 years before you retire and 5 years after you retire, the biggest risk you face in retirement isn't only market volatility, it's creating an income you can't outlive, as well as making sure your plan is flexible to your life changes. This means balancing guarantees with growth, while managing risks like longevity, inflation, long-term care, and market downturns. You don't want to make a decision that produces income but sacrifices flexibility, a decision that reduces risk in one area but creates problems somewhere else, or a decision that feels safe today but causes stress later. Most people don't realize they've created one of these problems until they're already living with it. They've saved consistently and built real assets. They've built a substantial lump sum and now need to make decisions on what to do to recreate the paycheck they had when they were working. Yet they're still left wondering, can I really rely on this income? What happens if something changes? And how do I make sure fixing one issue doesn't break something else? In the next few minutes, I'll explain why these problems are so common in retirement, why many strategies fall apart once income starts, and how I help people solve them before they become permanent. Hi, my name is Mark Turner. I'm an accredited investment fiduciary, which means I'm legally bound to create alternatives that are in my clients' best interests. I founded Wealth Management Strategies Retirement Solutions more than 20 years ago. I also own my own securities firm and work with numerous active money managers to assist my clients who want a portion of their money in the stock market and want a manager that will work to protect them from major stock market downturns. I'm proud to be a retirement solutions specialist. My goal and my job, as my company name suggests, is to identify and solve retirement problems, especially the ones people don't see until it's too late to easily fix them. While income is one of the main issues most people worry about when they initially retire, it's not the only area that causes concern and creates issues people want to address. After we tackle creating your paycheck for life, we look at investment management, tax reduction needs, long-term care, and health care, as well as estate and legacy planning. Everyone's family and life's situations are different. That's why it's important to know who and what is important to you when creating your retirement plan. This can substantially affect when and what assets you use to determine your lifetime income. I work with those who are nearing or already in retirement, individuals managing finances on their own, and couples preparing together. And because of personal experiences with my family, I have worked to put together programs for women who have always been the one in charge or who are navigating retirement after divorce or the loss of a spouse. Different situations, but the same core concern. How do I make this work without making a mistake I can't undo? And after seeing this play out for years, one pattern shows up again and again. Most people don't have a real retirement strategy. They have a collection of accounts: IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, TSPs, brokerage accounts, CDs, sometimes annuities or insurance products added at different points in time. But when I ask a simple question, where exactly does your retirement income come from? And what happens if something goes wrong? Most people can't answer it clearly, not because they're careless and not because they didn't save enough, but it's because retirement changes how money behaves. Losses hurt more when you're withdrawing. Taxes matter more when income is fixed, and trade-offs become permanent much faster. This is where many common approaches start to break down. So how do you fix this? Some people try to do everything themselves. They manage their own investments, choose their own withdrawal strategy, handle taxes as best they can, and hope nothing goes wrong. But the problem is that every decision rests on their shoulders. And in retirement, even small mistakes can be costly and hard to reverse. Others rely on traditional portfolios, stocks, bonds, rebalancing, and the assumption that things will work out over time. That approach can be fine when you're still accumulating, but retirement is different. A major downturn early in retirement while you're taking withdrawals can permanently damage how long your money lasts. And then there are people who are sold one solution and told it's the answer to all their problems. Sometimes it's a single product, sometimes it's a safe strategy, sometimes it's just put it all in the stock market and let it ride. There are tools that can play a role, but when one product is treated as the entire plan, that's not retirement planning. If you have a planner and all they asked was, "Show me the money," but didn't get to know your entire situation, then you are working with an asset gatherer, not a retirement planner. That's selling, not planning. What creates real problems in retirement usually isn't one bad decision. It's a series of uncoordinated ones. Income handled in one place, investments somewhere else, taxes addressed separately, and no one responsible for how it all fits together. After doing this for more than 2 decades, I can tell you something with confidence. When retirement income fails, it's rarely because people didn't save enough. It's because their money was never structured to work together. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine two retirees with the same amount saved. One enters retirement knowing exactly how much income they can take, where it comes from, and how it's designed to hold up through different market conditions. The other enters retirement with a collection of accounts and a general plan to adjust as they go, depending on how markets behave. Same savings, but very different levels of stress. The difference isn't intelligence or discipline, it's structure. What actually works in retirement isn't guessing or hoping conditions cooperate. What works is assigning each dollar a clear job. At our firm, we structure retirement money by purpose. Some dollars are designed to produce dependable income. Some are positioned for growth with clear rules around risk. Some are protected so volatility doesn't force bad decisions. And some are specifically earmarked to reduce unnecessary taxes, plan for healthcare decisions, and protect loved ones you leave behind. That's what it looks like when your money has structure instead of guesswork. And when things are structured this way, something important happens. You finally know what income you can rely on. You know what happens if markets decline. You know where taxes are a real risk and where they aren't. And just as important, you stop carrying the mental burden of constantly wondering if you're doing this right. So if you're over 55 and have $500,000 or more saved, cookie cutter advice no longer applies. At this stage, it's not just about accumulating more, it's about coordinating what you already have. Picture starting each day with confidence, knowing your income is reliable, your investments are with an active manager, working with purpose, your taxes are planned for, your spouse and your legacy is taken care of, and the life you enjoy isn't all at the mercy of the stock market. Picture taking trips without logging into accounts, spending your time living retirement, not managing it. Picture having a plan so well thought out that the question, will this last, never crosses your mind again. This is what happens when retirement planning is done by design, not by chance. And it begins with a simple realization. Retirement isn't something you should have to figure out on your own. Would having that level of clarity change how you feel about retirement? Because at this point, you really have two options. One option is to keep doing what you're doing now, managing separate accounts with no clear structure, making assumptions, adjusting as things come up, and hoping nothing breaks at the wrong time. Some people choose that path, and some get lucky. But many don't realize there's a problem until a decision becomes permanent and expensive to unwind. The other option is to work with a comprehensive retirement planner whose role is to identify and solve problems before they become permanent. Not by guessing, not by pushing products, and not by asking you to do all the heavy lifting yourself, but by structuring income, growth, risk, and taxes so they actually work together. And that's exactly what I help clients with every day. So if that second option sounds like you, what are the next steps? All you need to do is tap the button on this page to schedule a call. On the call, we'll have a conversation to determine whether working together would improve your situation and discover if we're a good fit for each other. No pressure, no commitments, just insight. I want to get to know about your situation, not just your assets. I'm not going to solve or offer solutions on our first call. It's for me to get to know more about your questions and concerns, and for you to ask me any questions you have to see if we can help solve some of your issues. You've spent decades building your wealth. Now it's time to organize it, protect it, and turn it into the kind of freedom retirement was meant to provide. If I don't believe I can meaningfully improve your situation, or if what you're looking for doesn't align with how I work, I'll be completely upfront with you and tell you directly. But if I do see a clear way to improve your situation, I'll explain exactly what that would look like, why it makes sense, and what the next steps would be. We have a clearly defined process called the Retirement Roadmap to serve, not to sell those who have real concerns. So once again, tap the button on this page to schedule a call and pick a time that works for you. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.